Traditionally, the calendar has been a good barometer for the best time to buy a house. With schools closed this past year and many people working from home due to COVID, the seasons for home buying and selling are not quite as defined as past years. People selling their homes in the midst of the holiday season are often selling their homes because they have to. When is the best time to buy or sell? Dorothy, what do you think? Is it seasonal? Do the holidays affect the buying season? What do you think?
Well, last year, 2020, sure was a difference, wasn't it? I mean, usually spring, summer is a hot time, and it totally shifted it to late summer, starting in August, to fall, and even into the holiday season more than normal. But the holiday season really isn't as bad of a time to sell as most people think it is. Number one, the weather usually is inclement in most parts of the country, so less people are out. Even in Southern California where it's sunny, good heavens, if it just rains, a little drops, people do not come out. And I think that's the best time to go out personally. So that's one advantage to buyers. There's less competition. Number two, at the end of the year, it's maybe a tax advantage if you need some more write-offs. It's a good time to sell. Usually people are more motivated also. Sellers may need to relocate for a job. I mean, who knows now with our new change? But there are some places or jobs that people still need to be at different locations. So people may need to move. Also, the professionals on the side of the transaction, like the lenders and the realtors, they may want to close their books for the year. So ending the year with some sales is a good way to go. So it's not necessarily a bad time to sell or buy.
Well, what I'm hearing is it's always a good time to buy or sell, Dorothy. I think most people would agree that that there are variables when thinking about buying or selling, and they can be seasonal. Steve, what are you thinking about seasons? Is it micro market related, or do we have a national agenda for buying or selling? What do you think?
I kind of see it as broken up into three parts. The United States, you have the East Coast, you have the Lake States, anything in between that, getting that cold wind coming down there. And then you have the West Coast, which is kind of California, Oregon, Washington, that whole belt there. And they all have a different feel to them coming into the seasons. You know, we all get that chill as soon as October comes around, usually in early November every year. And, you know, when it's snowing around the lakes, you're not showing your home. That's just not happening. So they absolutely do shut down unless you want to snowmobile in and turn on the frozen pipes and try to get the thing going. That's where I see opportunity for people. I would be that snowmobiler trying to get the place for half price and talk the guy into let me show it. I would usually lock my interest rates on Valentine's, 4th of July, Christmas. I've gotten so lucky. Now that interest rates are that low, I don't know that people are timing the holidays like they used to, Robert. And seasons do play big around those heavy weather places, not so much in California and the West Coast.
I agree with Steve. It's always a good time to buy property on the West Coast, but thinking about the seasons, and Dorothy made a good point, was the seasons were a little blurred this year based on the COVID and how that progressed. A lot of children were being homeschooled. A lot of people went inward to work from home. So the season was a bit of a blur. Andy, what was your observations? How do you think it will progress coming into the new year?
Well, Robert, a lot of good points here. I agree with most of them. But in my mind, all bets are off because of the pandemic and all the things that went down with that. Everything's kind of skewed where maybe spring was a hot buying season. Now it's kind of moved over to the fall. And maybe because of all this pent up demand, it's all year round. It's hard to know. The only thing that would dictate that, I think, would be the weather. So if the weather is good in your area, chances are the buying pools are going to be big. And as long as the inventory stays somewhat low, and as well as interest rates, you're going to have a great time or a great opportunity to sell your home for the highest price.
So no matter where you are, the temperature could be hot or cold, but what I'm hearing is it's a great time to buy.